if I had a lighter, I would light it up right now.
That's what you got to do.
Now that was, of course, now this one is My Aim's Getting Better, but the previous one, it changed on me. What was the name of that one?
Always and Forever.
Always and Forever. That's a nice tune.
Thank you.
All your originals.
We're at the Tammie Davis website. Welcome back to the Dirty Overhaul Rock Show. This is your host, Dirty Dave. Sitting across from me, as always, is
Porter Wagner.
And we are sitting here with Miss Triad Music, Charlotte. What do they call it? The Queen City.
I call her the Queen of Country Music.
The Queen of Country Music.
I'm not talking about Miss Loretta.
We've got Miss Loretta.
Loretta.
She's open for Loretta Lynn, so I can say I've been that close to Loretta Lynn. There you go.
Close enough. What is that? What is it? 6 degrees?
7 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever that
Put
is.
that on our bio now.
Yeah. We've gotten this close to Loretta. So whatever the distance was, did you get to meet her?
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Oh, the sweetest. I mean, she just...
I couldn't help but do lines from that movie because that's one of my favorite.
I thought you were going someplace else when you said that, doing lines.
Oh my God, that's our drummer. But
Wrong answer.
That's that wrong kind
any
of
day,
show.
sweetheart. No,
But she still sounds great, doesn't she?
my
Yeah,
God.
she still sings really well, and she's just, for her age, and her standing up there under those lights in that big dress, and
she still wears that.
She does it. She just brings it.
Did she ask about me at all?
She did.
I can't stop thinking about the movie where she says, Doolittle says that baloney makes him horny.
And the more I laugh, the hornier. Whoa, hey, you can't say that on the radio.
Sound like old bar growling,
He
dude.
said, you're number 14 nationwide.
She said, "What's that mean?"
She was awesome. She was so
backdrop, baby.
She was so naive, but she was so great. That's what made her so great, because she didn't have that.
Right.
But
exactly.
but no, I grew up listening to her. My mom, she was
Tweedy
here.
and Loretta
Of course,
Lynn.
my mom, she's old country. She listens to some of the newer stuff. My dad, he listens to stuff like Hank Williams and
Original Hank.
Yeah, original Hank, the Hank.
Not
And-
Hank 3.
No, that's right. There's three of them to talk about now.
Tammie's like, hey, I know what. Let's talk about me.
Let's talk about me. Let's talk about. She's like, no, I've been talking long enough.
Talk about you.
It's
But,
about me to talk about.
But you met Loretta Lynn, and of course you've opened for the president.
Wow.
Played for the president. You played. We won't talk
We
about
played
which
for
president.
George Ryder. Is that like the same?
No,
I don't know him.
No,
Okay.
he's a president of Randleman.
We need to get you over there, though. She would have a ball over there.
We're going to be playing, since we're talking about us. Hey, we're going to be we're going to be playing this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And if you don't, of course, I know you're a busy gal, but if you're not doing anything, you should come by and say hello.
Maybe Saturday.
See, Sunday's really
I'm
cool.
off Saturday.
Sunday's really cool because they have the big
You're off
family
on a Saturday,
day.
and you're a star.
Well,
She is a
Superstar.
every day. I just have to take what I can get.
Well, that's true.
I imagine you probably turn a lot of stuff down as well, too.
I do. I don't like to, but sometimes I have to. Just
Are you finding the
yeah.
same thing we are? It's like we've been around 17 years in Fair Warning, and is it like getting bad for you guys too? At the top, you guys are another level above us, and on a bigger scale. We're not going to be playing in Winston-Salem at the Lawrence Joel or anything. We're lucky to get riders.
Have you played at Lawrence Joel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I did that was in Greensboro.
Loretta.
Yeah, that was Greensboro.
War Memorial.
Oh, War Memorial.
Yeah.
In Greensboro.
Okay,
At Lawrence
now
Joel.
who knows?
Is this thing on?
Hello?
I did a pre-party concert pre-concert party for Zach Brown Band when they came.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
it was a private party, but it was you had to buy a ticket to get to the pre-concert
Yeah.
party, and it was in a little room as you come in. To
Wow,
the Coliseum.
cool.
Yeah.
And you got to hang out with all these people.
we got tickets and everything. We got backstage, so.
He's like, hey,
She got
little lady.
backstage access. See.
I'm Tammie Davis. I'm going to use that everywhere I go now.
And she goes in the back and says, hey, don't you know who I am?
Davis, Tammie Davis.
That's Davis. Shaken, not stirred.
Yeah, we're crazy.
So let us know. Okay,
It's occupational hazard.
yeah, we'll talk about ourselves all night. But
Yeah, if you let us.
so the Marine Corps comes to an end. You do your time. You did 8 years? What'd you
I
do?
did almost 5 years.
Wow.
Wow.
In that gig, I would have did 20. I just got tired of sleeping outside and freezing my bootay.
Now, is that all you did, was play the piano? Or did you do any singing? Or
I did. I actually started singing in the Marine Corps. That's where I really kind of discovered that I like to sing.
Yeah.
Because the only singing I'd ever done before that was just in church,
Yeah.
here and there. But never really took it seriously or took lessons or anything like that. So when they came to us, the generals in the Marine Corps, they get together once a year and they play golf at Quantico, at the golf course at Quantico. And so all the generals and the whole entire Marine Corps come to Quantico and play golf. Well, they have a little barbecue thing after their golf tournament, and they wanted a country band.
Wow.
Well, they came to us, you know, and there was a couple of people in the band that were from the country, you know.
But you guys didn't consider yourself a country act.
We didn't have a country band, so we had to put one together.
You'd be surprised how many musicians I met. When I was in Fort Knox, they had these little booths that you could rent at this recreation center. And you'd like, there's this guy, they're like, hey, Johnson plays guitar, and this guy plays, and we would get in there, and you could like pay like $5 and get 30 minutes in there, and you get to play with, they had instruments and everything that you could rent and jam in those little, now Marine Corps didn't, I'm saying the Army did.
Right.
And they had an Air Force thing there too, and you know, it's pretty cool. But you meet all kinds of musicians in the military.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's talk about Tammie some more.
Okay. Sure. We can do that.
But you started doing some singing. Now, did you have kids at this time? At this point?
No.
Kids at all?
No. I was having a blast, you know.
Because I know you have a daughter, and you told me how old she is,
Yes.
which I won't tell.
So 35.
Right, which you can pay me later for.
Right.
But so you were in the Marines, and you got out of the Marines, and once you got out of the Marines, what did you do?
That's kind of a blur.
She moved back to North Cackalack.
Actually,
she must have had some really good stuff.
Yeah, I did. You know,
Not really, because you got to take drug tests in the military.
Well, once she got out, it's
yeah, she can do whatever she wants.
Because I like to sing, and I kind of skipped over a really important part when I discovered that I liked to sing when I was in the Marine Corps.
Yeah,
I started taking vocal lessons from a lady in Northern Virginia, and so I did that for quite some time. And so when I got out of the Marine Corps, and I just started working locally there around in the area, you know, I was waiting tables at night, so I would rehearse. You know, in my living room in my apartment all day long, like 4 hours a day.
Your neighbors loved that.
Yeah, well, they were at work. they all had day jobs, so you know. So I was, so I would be singing to the top of my lungs, you know, rehearsing all day long. So that's really when I sort of got the fever. But at that time, I really didn't know. You know, it's one thing to be able to sing or to have the desire to sing. It's another thing to really know how to take that and go somewhere with it, and have any direction, and have anybody telling me what to do, or hey, team, you need to do this. I mean, just
you didn't audition for like local. I picked up the newspaper, and
the only thing I did at that time was I did go to Nashville, and I competed in a competition at Opryland. And it was 125.
It wasn't the Nashville Star. What is that?
No, it wasn't Nashville Star.
It was before all the.
It was before Nashville Star, but I can't remember the name of it. It was some sort of management company that put it on, and it was 125 acts showed up, and I was in the top 10.
Wow,
great.
Yeah, so I mean, that was all exciting and everything, and it was like, oh my god, but. At that point, it's like, you know, what do you do next? It's like I didn't have anybody telling me what steps to take or anything like that. So, you know, and then after that, you know, it's just life just sort of happened, and you forget about it, and you're like, you know, it's just a dream or whatever. It wasn't until, you know, I had my daughter, and I got my job in Greensboro, and I was, you know, working for a big, huge corporation, and, you know, I was a single mom and taking care of her and everything, and that I met the man that I'm married to now. That really, that was the first time, he was the first person in my life that really recognized that, you know, I had something that I didn't need to be thrown away.
Backed you up.
And so, and it took him a really long time to convince me that I was good enough, because my attitude was that there's 1,500 women out there look and sound just exactly like me, so who's going to want to hear me sing?
Usually it's the other way around, trying to convince your other half that, I can do this, or I can. But it's how important it is to have somebody to completely support you. Because I know, like, one of the guests that was in here just like a week or so, Brian Meyer, his girlfriend is a singer in a Heart tribute band. So they're both singers in bands. So I mean, they so get each other. So that is so important to have somebody.
The deal, the grind.
And it takes a special kind of man. I mean, when the woman is in the industry,
exactly.
It takes a special kind of man because, I'm on the road. And all my band
Where's my dinner?
Well, all my band members are male. And so I travel with men. I socialize with men.
If he knows, he knows you.
Definitely.
And he knows.
But when you have to have that strength within your relationship.
Exactly.
That, and he also, it's not just the supporting part of what he does. He is my personal manager. I mean, he does things that you'd fall out of your chair as far as the way he takes care of my day-to-day business.
Right.
And
that's
so
good.
Without that, and I can honestly say without that, I would have lost my mind a long time ago.
Yeah.
So it's really important. I mean, you have to have that, because until then, I didn't have anybody that believed in me. I didn't have anybody that, ever said, "Hey, Tammie, I think you could do something with that." And it just, nobody in my family, no friends, no nothing.
Well, I was going to ask if you had anybody in your family that was anything from a guitar picker to a singer, whether they did anything in a club or whether they did it just at home. Like my grandfather, he played pretty much everything by ear. He was a guitar player, and that's where I got it from. I draw and I play, so I got that from him. Nobody in my family is like that. They're all like straight sticklers, and I'm like the black sheep of the family. If that tells you anything.
One of my favorite memories about my dad was him playing Little Brown Jug on the guitar.
Oh, really?
That's one of my favorite memories of my dad. And my mom sang in the choir. She wasn't a great singer. She was more of that operatic, singer.
But obviously that's where you get it from.
Yeah, so there is some talent there, and all three of us girls all played piano. I mean, we were all...
I'd give anything. That's like, it seems like it would be so hard. I mean, I play a little bit of guitar, but piano just blows my mind. I'm like, oh.
Well, speaking of heart, those two girls, Ann and Nancy, they came up from a Marine family as well, and they were all the time going place to place to place, and they were saying that the strength they draw from each other came from the Marines family and how important it was. So that can really help. I wished I had someone that took me under a wing, just like you said you didn't have, and kind of steered me and got me started a little earlier. Because
that's where I come in.
That's where Brian comes in.
Some 40 years later.
Brian would just come up to me after a set and go, "Well, you shit the bed on that one, didn't you?"
Right.
I'm like, we were playing Honky Tonk Women. What was you playing?
Yeah, we were playing in the key of B. What the hell were you doing?
Well, I tell you another thing that really helped me early on is when I first got into it, and like in 08, 07, 08.
I like what she calls it, the singing thing.
The singing thing,
she's right.
When I first, said, okay, this is it, this is a serious deal, I mean, when my husband finally talked me into it, I just looked at him and I said, okay, this has been something that I've wanted to do since I could remember.
Right.
So now that you've convinced me that we're going to do this,
now you're in trouble.
There's no turning back. This is not a weekend thing. This is not a hobby. This is not. This
it's a lifestyle.
Serious. Yeah. And I said, you do realize that we could lose everything that we own. And he said, I do. I realize that.
But wouldn't you? I mean, I wish I had the guts that you had. It's like I've been doing this for so long, but I mean, I have to do the day job and then do the. I'd give anything if I did the music thing, and then
We had 3 guys in here last week, and from the same band, talking to them, and one guy had to leave early. And he said, he had to get up and go to work early in the morning. And we were saying, hey, for our listeners out there, he has what is called a day job.
Well, I'll tell you the most sick feeling I've ever felt in my life, and that was I resigned from my corporate position in February of 2010.
Wow.
And they threw me a going away party, and because I'd been there for 6.5 years, and when I drove away from there that afternoon after I got off work.
Did you feel just like a weight?
No, I was sick.
Oh, what am I going to do?
What am I going to do? I mean, like, how stupid am I? And that was going through my mind. But it kind of makes
you, though. You're like, I have to do this now.
You had to drive.
Before that, because before I resigned, I looked at my husband because I was singing at night, getting up and going to work in the morning, and just dead tired. I looked awful because I didn't have enough sleep. I was having to be married to my job, and then I had to come home, take a shower, go to a gig.
And for a woman, I can imagine. See, my wife helps me so much with that too. It's like she knows I have to be. If I get in at 3 a.m, I have to be up at 5 and go in, and she takes care of.
And you can tell she's not a makeup artist.
Well, I do have a face for radio. But I mean, but you're doing. I mean, I couldn't imagine like doing everything that my wife has to do. It's like she has to work a job and take care of the house and take care of my son.
Yeah.
Oh man, I couldn't do it, man. I'm so glad women have it rough. I'm the first one to say women have the roughest job.
Well, I know when I left my job, it's pretty easy because my boss came in and I was on edge for some reason that day, and he came in and just pushed me over the edge when he started yapping about something. I blew him out of the water and walked out, and haven't turned around since. And I've thought, why did I do that? But you just have to keep going.
Well, it was, and I'll tell you, I'll be honest, it was really extremely hard the first couple of years. I mean, I can't tell you the struggles and strains that it put on us financially.
Oh God,
But slowly but surely, you see it kind of diminish, and you just see it. You see yourself climbing and climbing and climbing, and there were so many days when I was like, all I got to do is go back to work, and I'll have that that
but
salary rolling in.
At least you have that.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm thinking, it would be so easy just to go back to work, but and then my husband looked at me and say, "No, you really want to do that? Do you really want to throw this all away?" And I'm like, because
who wants to go back to the day job?
Well, I think Bruce Dickinson, singer for Iron Maiden, said it best when he says, "If you have something that you do." Whether it's singing, playing guitar, he says making wicker baskets, whatever it is, he says if you enjoy it, if you think it matters and you think it's important, then why do you want to bugger it all up inside?
Right.
You got to share it with everybody.
Right.
What's your language as a lady in here?
I said bugger.
I know, exactly.
And speaking of a lady, we're going to be taking a break here in just a sec, and we're going to be right back with this young lady.
The lovely Tammie Davis.
I have to say I'm sorry, Brian, but she is a little prettier than you.
That's your opinion.
Yeah, so...
look at dressing him up a little bit.
You should have seen his Halloween costumes past couple of years.
I was Lady Gaga for Halloween.
I got some stuff in my purse over here.
You're going to need more stuff than what she brought with you.
Better get a jackhammer and some Maybelline.
But we're going to be right back. This is the Dirty Overhaul Rock Show.